This is for you because you were saying on the show too that sometimes you have a low self-esteem. Has that grown now? I think I can imagine.
It's grown a bit. I mean, I'm still the same shy, nervous person I've always been. I haven't changed as a person. My life has changed quite a bit, but as a person, I'm still the same guy, and I'll always be the same guy. I'm nervous before each interview, and I'm nervous before each performance that I do. If I'm at the side of the stage for too long, I'll actually start pacing up and down, because that's just the way I am. You know, it's just a huge privilege to be able to do what I love doing. And you know, I'm very aware that I don't have a guaranteed future, because nobody does. I only get to do what I love doing for as long as people buy my albums and buy tour tickets. You know, if people don't continue to buy them, I don't get to do what I love doing anymore. And you know, I'm truly grateful to every single person that's gone out and spent their hard-earned money buying the album, buying tour tickets, and to everybody that's left messages of support on websites and on YouTube. It's been, you know, very, very, very gratifying to see them.
The feel, because I also read, and also in your bio it says that well, as a child you were bullied. Was it? Is that the music gives you some side of solace, maybe?
Well, music used to be, and singing in particular, used to be my way out of it. The bullies couldn't be bothered to wait an hour while I was in school choir, so I managed to go home the normal way. But you know, I prefer to look on things from a positive side. I try not to look back negatively. Life is something that happens to you, and you have to learn from things you go through. And I think that you become what you've been through in many ways, and you learn from that. And I try just to turn things that, you know, in some ways rather than I've gone through and turn it into a positive. And you know, it's just part of who you are.
And when did you make this turning point for you? Have you always had this attitude, or was it just?
Yeah, I've always had that kind of attitude. I mean, you know, you can't help what happens to you. You can't control everything. If you can't control it, you can't do anything about it. So there's no point worrying. You know, I've always been someone that's been a bit hard on myself, but that won't change that much. I'm still quite hard on myself. But you know, I just don't see the point in looking back and being negative, because then the negative side wins.
It's true, but you said, well, maybe in an early interview you said, well, maybe I didn't have the guts to try to do it professionally, because of if you stand out there, then you can fail. So what made you decide then now that you would try to do it? Was it just the debt problems and your health problems that you had, maybe, or?
I've never been much of a risk taker, and that's probably the biggest risk I ever took. I've never ever bet money on a horse race. I've never bet money on anything, and I probably still wouldn't. You know, closest I come to that was doing the lottery in Britain a few times. You know.
Did you win anything?
A few £10 here and there, but nothing big.
Okay.
But I've never been a bettor. I've never been someone that's bet on things. So I've never been a risk taker. Because sometimes in life it feels easier to think you might have made it rather than no, you wouldn't.